Weisberg here, www.bathurstandlawrence.com. I want to talk to all you builders, would-be builders, wannabe builders, whoever it is. And I got my top 3 tips for increasing your profit when you're going to do what I call an infill house, which is very common in Toronto in our area, where you take, generally it's a bungalow, and it's not occupying much of the land, knock it down, or knock most of it down, and then continue to rebuild it. Big magnificent house, anywhere in the range of, let's say, 3,000 to 5,000 square feet, depending on the lot and location. Now, I've been involved in this since 2006, and I feel very blessed to see a lot of the mistakes that people have made and cost them a lot of money, and a lot of the good things that people have done that made them a lot of money, and I want to share them with you. And of course, I'm always available to do a free consultation. So the biggest 3 mistakes where people lose a lot of profit in the infill industry, particularly smaller builders and smaller houses, is the finishes. And what I see mostly is that they overfinish. Now, every customer wants a quality home, and I only want to sell a quality piece. But you also have to think of what is the area demand. For example, there's some times where you're putting money. I had a house and he had to cement the whole main floor. The understructure was cement. Now, 90% of homes in the area are wood construction. So, it's something that's unnecessary. And there's a point of return on your money where you can add and add and add, but there's a cap on that value. And I told him it's like, if you imagine you took a Honda Accord and you put a V8, I don't know, Mercedes engine in it, and you put the best tires on it, and you put the best air system, the best wheels, and then you said, you know what, I want $85,000 for it. Well, I mean, people would laugh, because no matter what kind of engine or what kind of accessories are in it, at the end of the day, it's a Honda Accord. And that's where I want to move to, is based on where you are, there's a neighborhood expectancy. And let's say you're in a place where there's $1 million homes. That's the tops, and you want to go put in the best appliances, the best this and that. You maybe get a little more money, but you're not going to see those returns, because that is what the area stands for. Again, it's a Honda Accord. There's only a certain cap of a value for that. So finishes, what I suggest to every guy who's going to go out and work on a project, or even before, is go out and see the finished products in your area. Within 2-3 kilometers, go out and see exactly what the finishes are. Try to talk to buyers if you can. I don't know, sit in at an open house, or consult a real estate agent or an expert in the area, and find out what do people really want in the new build, what the least amount they're willing to go for, and what will they not pay for. And that's going to save you a ton of money. And that's number 3. Because at the end of the day, finishes can always be upgraded or downgraded, so you could change it around later. It will cost you some money, but it's not as permanent as the other things. The next thing I want to speak to you, the next problem where a lot of builders go wrong, is they buy a cheap lot. And they think a lot of times, I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting a deal, but make sure in fact that it is a deal. Oftentimes a builder will think they're getting a deal, but what they're actually doing is buying a cheap lot. And they save 50, 60, 75,000. Remember, that's going to be double on the other end. So if you buy let's say a corner lot, usually are less desirable to most people, but 75% in my experience. So you buy a corner lot, or you buy on a busy street, or something else is undesirable, it's across from an apartment building, or what have you. Generally, if you save 50 grand, it's going to take you 100 grand less in the final build. I mean, people are smart. You have to realize that, and why was the lot cheaper and less desirable in the first place? Just because you put a beautiful, new, brand new luxury home, that still is going to command less money. So my advice to you, I'm not saying never buy a corner lot, or but be very careful in determining if is it a good deal. Is it really a good deal? Go for it. Is it a good deal because it's less desirable? Then keep in mind that on your end scale, It's not going to fetch as much money, and you have to take that in mind to how you're going to finish it and how you're going to develop it, because the lesser lot is less money. So oftentimes we see guys, and they buy a cheaper lot, they go to the hill with the finishes, and they're crying because they're not getting their money back. So you got to get the right lot. And the number one mistake that I see with infill projects, and it's one that's usually either very hard to rectify or impossible. I mean, nothing's impossible, but it's not cost. It's impossible because of the cost is the layout. You gotta know exactly what the layouts are in the area and what sells. I can't tell you how many times I see that the dining room is tiny or it's off to the side or what have you. And if the house doesn't have the right finishes, you can always upgrade them or downgrade them. If the house is the wrong lot, hopefully you got it as a deal, you can always take that money off the selling price. But once the house is built and the layout is kind of the layout, and usually the main floor is the big one, so again, it comes to doing market research, finding out what people in the area are looking for, go to the homes that sold, and find out what they're doing, make sure they're not messing up. A lot of people do mess up, and that's for the main floor. Upstairs is pretty straightforward. You can go for 4-bedroom or a 5-bedroom, and there's yay or nay for both. Really depends on the size, and each project is a little different. And most guys are doing either 2 rooms have an ensuite or shared or whatever. And you can't really go so wrong. It's the main floor is the big one. And with the basement, I always say, like everyone wants to do something different in the basement. One guy in certain areas, you have to have a basement apartment, 1, maybe even 2. Of course, they're not legal. Another place, it's got to be a big rec room. Another place, they want it, study or entertainment zone or whatever. I mean, it's very hard to please everyone in the basement. What I suggest is to do it as open concept as possible. With obviously finishing the basement, but don't put a ton of walls and rooms in. And then you could always offer to build it in with the buyer. It leaves you a lot of maneuverability, because like I said, it's very hard to please everyone in the basement. So I hope this was very, very helpful to you. And I work with a ton of builders. I'm always looking for lots. And like I said, give me a call, consultation. It's much easier, when you're in the drawing phase to get things right, because you got to maximize profit, and we don't want any mistakes. Thank you very, very much. If you disagree with any of this, please comment, suggest. Thank you. BathurstandLawrence.com. BathurstandLawrence.com, 416-899-8474. Thank you very much. There's my business card. Don't know if it's going to work too hot on the computer.